So help me Dockerize this app. It's aware of my local context where it's running in the local file system. Now it's switched to a specialized agent that is much better at Dockerization. Knows the key files to look at, breaks down the problem with specific structured thinking, and creates a progress checklist. Then starts taking action on machine. So you can see here it's running in Dockerization mode. So first it starts looking into a local file systems or the key files it identifies. Builds tables, what everything does to try to find the entry points to the application. And it recognizes that there's database configuration, like this fast API requires a database. Identifies the environment variables, the ports to listen on, and starts coming up with a plan to build, run, and test a Docker file. So here it calls a specialized tool that we optimized for code generation, creating a Docker Compose file to be able to run the application with its dependencies to test the app. The agent's brain runs over an OpenAI compatible API, so it can be plugged into existing coding assistants. And the tools, remote tools supported by Stakpak API, or local tools, are all MCP servers. So users can just extend them as they want, add their own tools. So here you can see the tool result is being streamed because unlike coding agents, most of the DevOps operations you would deal with or the tasks would take a lot of time to execute, like waiting for a container to be built or waiting for some resource in AWS to be created. So we stream these results live in real time to the user so they can get feedback on what's going on. So now it's running up the Docker Compose file. Amazing, the app is healthy. So it runs another health check to try create a record in the API to make sure the app statefulness works, so it can communicate with the database, create a record successfully without any errors. So it doesn't stop at just a regular health check. It goes further, trying to simulate some of the operations you would do with this API to make sure the app works fine. Now it tries to fetch the post it created, and the post is returned successfully. So the app can persist data in the database and fetch it. Some documentation to show us the required credentials to run this container, because if you only have the Docker file or the container built and try running the application in production, you would need these environment variables and generating these secrets properly. So the agent doesn't stop at testing the health check, but it also creates comprehensive documentation on the containerization process as a report with specific details on how to test the health check, how it already did the tests, and all the credentials or environment variables you need to create to be able to run this container in production.